Taxation. Politicians debate about it. We all pay it. We pay taxes in many forms, whether it's buying a product, paying our local council rates, or on our annual income. However, have we stopped to ask what exactly is taxation? Do we need it? And what would happen if we stopped paying taxes? Taxation is imposed upon individuals and entities in almost every country throughout the world. The revenue raised is primarily used to fund government expenditure. Tax rates vary depending on which country you live in and where you receive your income from. Within Australia, there are 3 levels in which tax is collected and distributed: federal, state, and council. Some of the federal taxes include income tax, FBT, and GST. Each state has their own taxes and royalties, in addition to the revenue it receives from the federal government. Finally, there are the local councils. The common revenue sources for the council are property rates and the portion they receive from the state to develop their local region. The taxes collected by the different levels of government are distributed over various public services and initiatives to benefit the Australian economy. The taxes collected at a federal level are used to fund various categories of expenditure. These include welfare, health, defence and education, just to name a few. The welfare assistance provided to Australian taxpayers include pensions to the elderly, assistance to families, disability assistance, and assistance to those who are unemployed. Healthcare provided from a federal level includes mental health services, Medicare, and the pharmaceutical benefit system, as well as payments towards states for targeted delivery of healthcare services. The pharmaceutical benefit system is operated by the Australian Department of Health. Medicines which can cost hundreds or thousands of dollars are subsidised to enable Australian families access to affordable healthcare. Combined with Medicare, the healthcare benefits provided by the government enables people of all income levels to seek medical attention when required. Funding of Australian military operations enables the delivery of Navy, Army and Air Intelligence capabilities in the defence of Australia and its national interests. When thinking about the allocation of defence funding, it is often forgotten that this also includes providing assistance to veterans and their dependents. Taxation funding has also been used to create and support the NBN. Many telecommunication providers either rented copper lines or provided their own alternative options to consumers to enable access to telephone and internet services. However, the standard of Australia's telecommunication network was falling behind compared to the rest of the world. The Australian government provided funding for the NBN to be created. This used primarily fibre optic technologies, which increased the quality of Australia's telecommunication network. Even though the NBN project has had its setbacks with the changing of Parliament, it is an example of the Australian government using taxpayer dollars to provide a service to consumers where the private sector did not deliver. State taxes are utilised to provide targeted services to the state and funding to local councils. Local hospitals, schooling and transport are amongst the services provided through state funding. It is vital for the 3 levels of Parliament to work together to achieve the desired funding required to provide their relevant services. Without the relevant requests for funding at both the state and local levels, services can be underfunded and taxpayers are left feeling unhappy with the outcome. State governments are charged with funding their state's local healthcare system. This includes hospitals and their staff. In this case, tax dollars are being used to fund the healthcare we see every day. The availability of the public health system is vitally important. Being publicly funded, the Australian citizen does not require payment to utilise these hospitals in a time of need. The public school system is also funded by the state. With the development and revitalisation of schools and the furtherment of science lab funding, the taxation dollars are preparing our children for jobs of the future. Allocation of funding includes investing in our community safety and our local police force. The Western Australian Police Force is responsible for policing the world's largest jurisdiction. covering 2.5 million square kilometres. Funding of transport, rails and roads includes fixing potholes to the redevelopment of transport projects to reduce congestion. Upkeeping our local transport network is vital to the everyday commute to work. In addition to the big things, the funding from taxes pays for our recreation facilities. Programs such as PCYC, recreation centres and parks are all benefits of our contribution to the taxation system. In exchange for each person contributing taxes, we all receive a benefit. We've answered what taxation is and what it's used for. Can we stop paying taxes? In short, no. The services provided from these payments will deteriorate and in many cases stop altogether. The rate of taxation and what items tax is applied on is a matter of debate for many. However, the end result will always be, will the result mean that we can still provide the required services? If we want to keep receiving public services and benefits, taxes are essential to our economy. Thank you for watching.